Well, hi everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Breakfast Club with Got That Funk. Thank you for joining me. I'd like to say farewell and thank you very much for all the contributions to Nathan Brendan Masters, who's been doing Wednesdays for at least 2 years, I think, on the Breakfast Club, and he's made some of the most viewed videos we've ever had on this channel. I really valued Nathan's point of view. His attitude towards the Breakfast Club was fantastic, and I know for myself I'm really going to miss him. So I just wanted to make sure I got that out of the way. I would be remiss if I didn't mention Nathan leaving the Breakfast Club, although he will be back from time to time. Everybody who's ever been a member of the Breakfast Club can pretty much come back and put a video on whenever they want. Some of them know that and some of them don't, but that's just how it is. Anyway, right, so let's talk about the topic for my video tonight. I believe it was yesterday, but it might have been the day before. There was a commercial released by Gillette, which is a company that makes, among other things, like shaving cream and razor blades for shaving your face, as well as, I'm sure, other toiletries and such products, you know. Now, Gillette put out this advert, which is a pretty long advert. It's about 1.5 minutes long, plus or minus. And it is basically, the theme of it is Gillette's motto for quite some time now has been be the best a man can be. All right. And for this new campaign, the advert is mentioning how in the modern era, you know, being the best a man can be ought to include things like discouraging bullying, not being a bully, discouraging people who might be making women feel uncomfortable, treating women with respect yourself, that kind of thing. Those messages I find inherently decent, and I'm amused in one sense that some people seem to have a problem. And when I say some people seem to have a problem with this video, I'm talking about dozens and dozens and dozens of comments that I read on the video itself of people, predominantly men, you know, by a factor of like, you know, 29 out of 30 probably, bitching about how the advert is gonna has made them choose to boycott Gillette, to throw away whatever Gillette products they have and to no longer purchase any. Now, I'm a person who favors boycotts. I think that's one of the best ways you can vote is with your wallet, especially since we seem to be run in large degrees by the corporations rather than the government. And so the only way to really hurt a corporation is not to buy their products. And in the sense that I think that is a good method through which you can protest and possibly even have some you know, tangible impact depending on the scale of the protest. I think it's a little bit ridiculous in this particular regard. Like I say, I don't begrudge anybody their right to boycott any product for any reason that they think is, you know, if a product crosses some kind of line for someone in terms of their values, you know, I can totally understand why you would no longer want to consume that product. Having said that, if your values don't include treating women with respect and being against bullying, I don't understand, you know, how people can be in favor of those things. And so, you know, that tempts me to think, well, it must be a straw man. The people objecting to this aren't really objecting to the fact that, you know, men are being encouraged to treat women with respect. They can't be objecting to that, right? They can't be objecting to, you know, discouraging kids from bullying other kids. They can't be, you know, that can't be what's offending them, right? So what's offending them, I think, and this is just my opinion, therefore, of course, it's probably wrong or possibly wrong in degrees. But my opinion is that people who are offended are mostly offended because the advertisement is, you know, preaching a lifestyle. And somehow, for some reason, on this particular occasion, that's now an offensive thing. Which, you know, to be quite frank, if that was your reaction to the advert, motherfucker, where have you been? You know, have you watched advertisements? over the past 40 years, some products blatantly say you won't get laid unless you use this product, and they completely promote a particular kind of lifestyle that that advertisements would like us to believe we are supposed to live up to these sorts of aspirations, to look a certain way, to smell a certain way, that kind of thing. It's all bullshit, man. And it's all bullshit. Be yourself and be happy. If you can do those two things, it doesn't matter what products you do or don't use. All right, that's just my philosophy. Anyway, back to this Gillette advertisement and why I think people are aggrieved. The promotion of a particular point of view, this one seems to be striking as social political chord thanks to the Me Too movement, which is explicitly mentioned in this video or in this advertisement. And I think there's an awful lot of pushback because people are sort of angry that for some reason other people have political opinions and they're expressing them, and maybe advertisements are the right place to express political opinions and blah blah blah. Well, there's a whole debate to be had about whether or not advertisement ought to be political, but quite frankly, that's not up to the customer. That's up to the company who's doing the advertising. Because here's the thing, if you want your company to be associated with a particular point of view or a particular type of demographic, then I think it's perfectly within your right and also probably wise to try to target your advertising for that. And frankly, there have been so many advertisements which I would have thought would be more problematic than this one. I mean, how many different times have you seen an advertisement, men? How many different times have you seen an advertisement where there's a heterosexual couple and the male is affable but totally inept, and the woman is really smart and capable and handles everything? Those adverts, promote a stereotype. And yeah, sure, sometimes I've heard people complain about them once in a while, but I've never heard anybody say they're going to boycott a company or a product because of those types of adverts. They just get under your skin and, oh man, that's an insulting stereotype. Well, welcome to the fucking club. Guess who else has had insulting stereotypes forced down their throats for all of fucking time, right? So the fact that it's happening to men as well as other groups doesn't make it any better. It just means, this is what advertising is. Advertising sort of aims for the lowest common denominator, or sometimes, like in the case of this Gillette advert, in my opinion, they're shooting for something else. They're trying to raise the lowest common denominator up to a higher level. Now, again, I want to stress, if people decide that they don't want to use Gillette or Gillette, which is owned by Procter & Gamble, so if you don't want to buy any products from Procter & Gamble because of the commercial, that's fine. It proves the power of advertising, because advertising is, ideally from the point of view of those doing the advertising, meant to make you attracted towards their product. But it also has the ability, as this advert shows, to repel people from a product. And I think that's something the advertisers will weigh carefully as, the impact of this advertisement and others that may follow will ripple away, and they'll see whether the results are positive or negative in terms of their branding and in terms of their overall sales. So from my point of view, an advertisement is meant to sell a product, and if the advertisement turns people away, then it probably wasn't a very good advertisement from the standpoint of selling products. But again, we're also talking about branding. We're talking about an image that a company or a product wants to associate itself with. And I don't see anything wrong with wanting to associate yourself with men who want to treat women with respect by holding other men accountable when they see them not doing that. And men helping young people, mostly boys as far as the advertisement portrayed, not be bullies towards other young people. Okay? I don't have a problem with those messages. I think if you have a problem with the messages themselves, that's kind of fucked up. If you have a problem with preachy commercials, I kind of get it, but at the same time, where have you been? Maybe they're not so overtly social political as this Gillette advertisement. I mean, that's open for debate. But at the end of the day, it's just a fucking advert. And people getting their fucking knickers in a twist because of what they see as social justice warriors taking over advertising, man, you are really, really a little too far down the rabbit hole if that's the way you think. That's all I've got to say about it. Anyway, I welcome any and all conversation in the comment section down below regarding this topic, and I will look forward to seeing you guys again next week on The Breakfast Club. Tomorrow we'll have a video from Brock Lawley as another guest host, and then I think we got Sword Sage on Friday, and we'll see about Saturday. All right, peace.